Hello, my other self on the other side of the screen. I hope you're doing great. In Pennsylvania, right now we're getting a lot of snow. I'm wearing my favorite alpaca sweater, winter sweater, and I'm ready to talk to you about discipline because this is a word that sometimes we have a wrong idea of what it means, and particularly in the context of what is called the disciplines of the personality, it becomes a bit more confusing what it is. So I want to talk about that, and we're going to start by defining first, what do we usually think when we say discipline? You see, we have this idea that discipline is supposed to be some rigorous, demanding, controlling skill, because, that's what we were trained on. We were told you have to discipline yourself, and that requires control. That requires that you stop doing the things that you like doing, and start doing things that you're supposed to do. That's the general subconscious idea that we all have. So even if we desire something and we know that we have to be disciplined, that program is running in our subconscious mind and is telling us, discipline. Why would I want to be disciplined? It goes against me. And you know what? It's true. Because free will is being presented with control. Free will doesn't want control. Free will wants to be, So we know that obviously there's something wrong with the idea that we have nurture inside of discipline. Now, it is true, however, and this is the paradoxical part, because we know that if we want to achieve something, we must be disciplined. So how come I want something, but discipline is, it's a wrong idea that I have, and I don't want it because all that I've been trained about discipline is something that goes against my own nature, but yet I need it. You see, it becomes a little bit confusing. So the truth is that discipline is attention. It's the focusing of attention on a particular thing, right? So discipline, you can see it as attention, focus on a specific activity. Okay, so we start to clean a little bit the idea of what discipline is. Now we have a better understanding, because discipline is simply the focusing of our attention on a specific activity. So we can say that we do this with proficiency or efficiency. So, for example, if you want to lose weight, you have to be disciplined in the kitchen, and hopefully, my recommendation, at the gym as well. And so you see that you have to develop this focusing of your attention to do the things that you know are right for you, for your goal, for what you want to achieve, and allowing this activity, to be fully dedicated to this, and then you get the result. As a side effect, the result happens, yes? So I always say that. And now, here's something that is very important for me when I talk about discipline. And I want you to pay attention to this, because this is crucial for you to know what is it that is going on in your mind that pushes you in that direction and what retracts you, okay? So regardless of how you see discipline, and I haven't gotten to the real meat of this video, but so far, I want you to pay attention to this. If you want to do something, it initially starts with inspiration. We always get inspired to do something. The feeling of inspiration is one that lasts perhaps a couple of seconds, minutes. You might be inspired for a whole day. So inspiration, it's a very heightened and unstable feeling of wanting to do something. Because of that, it starts dropping, possibly within minutes, hours, or a day, maybe days. But it will drop. Now, here's where you need motivation, right? Inspiration comes in, fills you in, and then you need motivation. Motivation is motion. So you need to keep yourself moving in that direction. So motivation is something that we can get, and it lasts days, perhaps weeks. Rarely does it last months. So you see the sequence. Inspiration lasts for a day, As soon as we get the message, we need to be motivated to continue to do it. But motivation is another unstable drive that we have and that eventually subsides. So from motivation, this is the bridge, because you need discipline. Nothing else is going to keep you moving with inspiration or motivation. You might get bursts of inspirations again, but you need to keep yourself disciplined. So discipline, it looks, for a good amount of time, it looks like you have to do something because you know is what is going to give you the results. And in spite of the voices that are going to come up and say, I don't want to go to the gym today. I don't want to eat this. I want to go back to my eating habits. Keep that word in mind. Because if you maintain your discipline now, which is you're disconnected from this inspiration and motivation, and you can see that the majority of people are riding waves of inspiration and motivation to do things. This might resonate with you because in your creative side, you get inspired, you get motivated to do a couple of things, and then it comes down. So after the initial impulse, discipline is the word. Focusing of attention on one specific task or goal, and you keep doing it regardless of how you feel. Okay? There are exceptions, of course. You know, if you feel sick or whatever might be impeding you, the possibility of keep doing it, obviously. But whenever possible, that boredom, laziness, or procrastination doesn't take over. And that's a very complex topic, but you know what I'm getting at. Now, when you have discipline for a prolonged amount of time, something develops in you that is called habit. A habit, you no longer need to feed it with discipline, because discipline led the initial inspiration to a habit. And that's what makes you a professional. That's what makes you a master at what you do. Discipline yourself so you can get that habit. Okay? So big parentheses there on this video, just for you to know the dynamics of listening to your own self so you can get disciplined to achieve the goal that you want. Okay? Now, here's the thing. In the inner path, right? We're talking about the mystical path. Some people may be disciplined in the spiritual practices for particular activity. Okay? And that actually follows the same pattern that everything else. So if you want to be great, a master in yoga, you can do that. You have to focus your attention on the specific practice of yoga. If you want to be a master at dream visions and astral travel and all of this, you're going to get inspired, motivated, and you have to be disciplined. Same way. You focus your attention on one thing and you keep going. All right? So we do this with everything. And what I'm saying here is for you to know that mental activities follow the same pattern, of course, as physical activities, because all is form. Anything that you want to do is form, so you focus your attention on that and you continue to do, and you become a master. But here comes the paradoxical part. How do I focus my attention into being? And so the most skillful thing that teachers have developed over years and years and years, thousands of years, is something like a mantra, a shape, an object, a mental object that you're going to focus your attention to. Okay? So the use of discipline on a specific object gives you the same effect, but it's missing something. Because all that's doing in this path, and at this point I want to remind you what we know in the Law of One as the disciplines of the personality. Know yourself, accept yourself, become the creator. That's the sequence. Okay, so how can I focus my attention on knowing myself? And what does a mantra has to do with all of this? Well, it's beautiful. Because a mantra, like I said, is an object, an image in your mind that you focus all of your attention to. So, you see, you're disciplining yourself from the distraction, right? The distraction that is in your mind, all the thoughts, I have to do this, I have to do that. And so we rigorously focus our attention into one object, and we focus on that and that and that. people can spend decades on this and still feel frustrated with their path. Why is that? Isn't that supposed to be the ultimate goal? No, because they haven't been taught that the whole purpose of focusing your attention into a mantra is to provide that effect that you might have seen in some movies when the person is captivated by something that's happening. Maybe there's a fight, maybe there is some commotion in something, and suddenly, that becomes the mantra, right? They're looking at that, but suddenly, they look at the background and they see maybe a child walking or something that distracts their attention, and it becomes like, oh, look at that. You see? This analogy is imperfect, of course, because what I'm trying to say is that the mantra eventually needs to fade away, just like whatever was catching the character's attention before in my analogy, and move into the background. But what is the background of a mantra? It's not thoughts, it's the void, or what we call the void. But that void is actually you. So knowing yourself is a knowing, a realization of what it is that you are. So you don't need a mantra. A mantra is the discipline that we are used to for activities applied for self-realization. But the discipline here is a different one. So here comes the kicker. The discipline that is necessary here is not a focusing of attention on anything, because when you leave the mantra alone, it fades away. You're not focusing on anything in particular. You're focusing on yourself, which is a wrong way of saying you are defocusing yourself. In other words, there is no more constriction in your awareness as a mind, and because mind is just awareness contracted, just like your pupils, right? Contract so they can see more detail in the light. So is the mind, or awareness as a mind contracts itself. So any focusing really is going to be an activity of awareness as mind. So when we release this, you see, there is no more focusing. So my whole explanation on discipline being the focusing of attention on a particular activity or object fades away, because now the discipline of the personality actually is the defocusing of this attention and staying with that. In other words, abide in yourself. Know yourself to abide in yourself. And that's it. That's the whole purpose of meditation. Now, the other thing is, let's cover acceptance. This acceptance is not an activity, okay? Know yourself, accept yourself, become the creator. This acceptance, the mind will take it as, okay, I need to accept everything that is coming through. The mind will go back to an activity of acceptance. It's not true, because if you know yourself and you truly bathe in this knowledge of who you are, then you know that acceptance is actually automatic. So by being yourself, you're accepting everything. So acceptance is actually a side effect of knowing who you are. Therefore, you're not accepting anything, and even the last little thing that you had to do with your mind, it's gone. This is true freedom. This is the discipline of freedom, because it's a defocusing on what you are supposed to do to achieve this, and then you're there. And as you're there, everything comes through. All the things that you don't need will fall away, because you're no longer latching onto them. You're not clinging to them. There's no desire, no aversion. There's just staying with it. And the more we do this, then the more we can see our true nature, our true activity, what we want to do. And so discipline, in this case, which is a defocusing of attention and a defocusing of activity, no more activity, just staying there, clears out everything that doesn't belong in your mind as an activity, traumas, mental patterns, behaviors, attitudes, emotions. All of this gets to be cleared out. That's part of the acceptance. You're letting go. Just let go. And instead of this discipline wanting to create control, it gives you freedom. And the last thing is your service. That's your service. Becoming the creator. What is it? What is a creator? Somebody who creates, or something that creates. To become the creator here is to simply do what you want to do in total freedom. And that looks like service to others. That's what you're looking for. And if you really look inside, you've known that, oh, this is what I've been wanting to do all my life. But there are all these things that are in the way. And that's what true discipline is. It's not a control. It's not losing of your sovereignty somehow. It's actually the ultimate freedom for you to do everything that you want to do that is going to impact the world in the way that you love helping others. It's beautiful, isn't it? So these are the disciplines of the personality, and I'm addressing, obviously, the discipline part. Your personality is what shines through as service. That's all it is. And all you have to do is know yourself. So I hope this was helpful. If you need help in this path and you're considering working with me, that's what I've been doing. In the description, you'll find a link to apply for a call with me. We can discuss all of this. I would love to guide you through this process. Hope you're having a beautiful winter if you're in the north, or if you're in the south, then a beautiful summer, which are very few people. But here from the north in the winter, I bid you farewell. Have a good day, good night, whatever you are, and I'll see you in the next video.